guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing another dedicated reading vlog. Before I get started, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. And if you're new, hi, hello, I'm Stephanie. I do a lot of bookish content. And today, for this video, we're going to go through the entire Caraval series. So I have never read this series before, and obviously I'm way behind since this entire series came out a couple years back. But I am going to read this now, and that's what the whole video is about. So for me to sit down, read the entire series, and let you guys know my thoughts on it. I certainly already picked up Caraval. I picked it up yesterday, and I'm already on page 152. So I've made some decent progress on it. Basically, so far, it follows a girl, her name is Scarlett, as well as her sister Donatella, where they are essentially trying to escape from a very strict life. Their father is extremely vicious, and for some reason is like very strict on them as well, and very cruel. They try to escape multiple times, and the last time resulted in something incredibly terrible that Scarlett now realizes that the only way to escape is for them to actually get married and actually leave the island, because unfortunately their father also happens to be the governor of said island. So there's not a lot of freedom for the two of them. They just want to be free, they just want to do their own thing, and they don't want to live under an oppressive person anymore. And ever since Scarlett was young, she's been writing letters to Legend, who is the master of the caraval, where every year they have this magical carnival experience, and they host it among different cities and places, and she's been telling him to come to this little island so her and her sister can experience it as well. And after years of writing, he's never responded until now. And suddenly, due to circumstances, they find themselves at this caraval, but then she realizes her sister is missing. And it turns out that her sister is actually this year's prize, where everyone who's playing this game is tasked with finding her sister. And so now she's on this hunt to find out where's her sister, for him to get back home, even though she doesn't want to go back home to her father, but she knows that she has a fiance waiting for her to eventually leave the island and away from her father, and she's hoping to bring her sister with her as freedom. So that's what the story is about. I'm really invested with the story right now. I'm really curious about her and Julian, because there's definitely a lot of chemistry between the two of them, but the way how he was first introduced was by making out with her sister. So I'm a little like weirded out by that, but we'll see how this goes. I definitely feel like the more I'm reading this book, the more I'm liking Julian because of his personality. In the beginning, he definitely seemed like more brutish and kind of dumb, but then the more I'm reading about him, the more I'm like, okay, you actually are quite clever, and apparently you're very handsome as well. So now like my mental image of him has shifted throughout the story. So we'll see how this goes. I do think he's the main love interest though, but we'll see. But yeah, let me get on to reading, and I'm hoping to read this book while I'm on my trip to Boston tomorrow. I'm hoping to bring at least the first 2 books. I don't know how much documentation I'll do, because I'm not planning to bring my cameras and stuff, so I'll probably do quick clips on my phone instead and just like hope for the best, because I don't want to bring all the gear and stuff. So I'm already struggling with space on my suitcase. So anyways, but yeah, let me just know a very quick update on my reading, and I'm finally starting off this reading vlog, and hopefully I will fucking love the story. But all I can say right now is that I actually am really enjoying the story so far, at least the first like half of the first book. All right, so I am back. Oh my gosh, I have never like filmed on my phone before, so the quality is just kind of weird, but I did want to let you guys know that I did finish reading Caraval, which I give 4 stars. I finished on my flight to Boston, and I really fucking enjoyed it. The last like hour and a half, 2 hours, I demolished the entire book. It was such a fast read. I'm really curious to see how the book will continue, because the way how the book ended and the synopsis of the second and third book, it seems to follow Tella's perspective, who is a sister, versus Scarlett. So I'm kind of curious to see why that is the case and what's going to happen with the characters, because I kind of like Scarlett. And I mean, like, obviously the first book I'm grown attached to her, whereas Tella wasn't really around, because I mean the whole premise of the book was Scarlett trying to find Tella, so Tella was never there until like the very end. So right now I'm kind of like, it's cool, but I'm curious. So I am going to pick up the second book soon. I think it's called Legend. I do have a copy of it with me. I brought it to Boston, so my hope for Boston trip is to finish that book, and I plan to read that a little bit today. We'll see how that goes, but all I can say is I really enjoyed the series. I can see why so many people really like it, because it is very like gripping and you're really quickly sucked in, and the writing style is honestly like such a easy read too. Like it's so easy to plow through. So I'm really happy that I read this book, and definitely can't wait to continue on with the series. So you guys, I'm back in LA and I have managed to continue reading Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I am now on page 342, and all I can say is I'm really enjoying this book. I'm loving the characters. I think that Tella is just, there's just so many facets to her personality that I really adore. There's just so many plot twists and turns to the story as well. Like, I'm just constantly curious as to what will happen next, and I feel like just when I know something's gonna happen, like it doesn't, or like the opposite happens, and I'm just like shooketh. There's also this sort of like love triangle romance happening right now, which I feel like is not really the case, but at the same time it's giving off that vibe, even though one person is clearly just like not the greatest person, and I'm just like, no way is there gonna be a romance with this person, but like there's that vibe happening. So I'm a little curious to see what will happen, and I feel like the way how the book is continuing right now, I'm about to have my mind blown, because there's just so much crazy stuff happening right now with the story and the trajectory of the plot, and I cannot wait to see how this ends. So I definitely want to continue on with the series, and I'm planning to hopefully to finish this book tonight, since it's only like 3 p.m. right now and I'm finishing up with work, and then I might just sit down and read for a little bit. But it is really fucking good. I can see why so many people are obsessed, and I want to say that there's just one thing in this book that gives me like Once Upon a Broken Heart vibe, which I haven't read yet, but if I remember correctly, that synopsis is based off of this like action that took place. I'm not gonna go into it, that also happened here, and I'm just like, I feel like this author has this like obsession with this one action being a catalyst for many other actions, and I'm just like, I don't know. It was as if it did really well in this series and she's bringing it into another series altogether. Unless like the two are somehow related. I don't think they are. Actually, now that I think about it, are they related? I feel like these days you can never tell, because authors are always doing like spin-off series, and yeah, I need to do some research now to see, because now I'm very curious. But anyways, I'm really enjoying the series, so I definitely want to continue on with the third and final book ASAP. All right, so just here to do a super quick update, because I managed to finish reading Legendary maybe like a day or two ago, and I've just been crazy busy for the past couple days. I've just been back, and today I had to do a bunch of errands, finally, like grocery shopping, meal prepping for the week, etc. So now I'm finally done, or like I'm pretty much done, and I can finally sit down and update you guys. So I started reading Finale. I'm now on page 72, so I've made some progress to it. I'm really enjoying the book, guys. I love how this third book really focuses on both Scarlett and Tella's perspective. From the synopsis, I got the impression that it was only from Tella's perspective, but that is not the case. It alternates between Scarlett and Tella. So I'm really curious to see how the story will end for the two of them and their own romances, because there's been so many ups and downs between what Scarlett's doing, what Tella's doing, and the guys that they're with, and I'm just like, hello. And at the same time, like, it is a little weird who their romances are and like their relationship with each other, because if you read the series, like, you know, like, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But I'm really enjoying the books right now. Cannot wait to find out what happens next, and definitely want to continue reading tonight, hopefully. I want to just relax now, because it's already like 4:30 and I am tired. So I want to relax for a little bit, read a little bit, and then hopefully I can finish this book in the next like day or two. But I'm really enjoying the series, like way more than I expected. All right, doing a quick update since I am taking a break. I am reading Finale. I'm on page 180, and I still really enjoy this series overall, but there are two things that I realize is starting to really aggravate me. Number one, I feel like this is a story where the both sisters are just constantly trying to find each other. Like, I don't know why that is the case. Something's always happening, and then, you know, like Scarlett or Tella will do something, and then the other sister is like off doing her own thing, but then they realize that, oh my gosh, where's my sister? We need to find her. Or they realize that like they're on like, I don't even know like what's happening, and I'm just like, it's just so frustrating sometimes to just read about the two sisters, because they are not like in sync with each other sometimes, and it feels like they're just always running around finding each other. And I'm just like, if you guys are so worried about each other, like, why don't you guys just stick together? Like, why are you guys always trying to find each other? And then, like, you know, like half the book is just like, I need to find my sister. I need to find my sister. Like, hello? So that's one thing. The second thing that's kind of really aggravating is, like, while I like both characters, I definitely like Tella a lot more. I feel like she, even though she's very reckless, but I feel like the times that she makes these reckless decisions, I feel like she does it because her options are either to protect someone or to save someone or whatever, something like grandiose reason, or, you know, like stay behind for her safety. Or like just like be ignorant kind of situation. So for her, I understand why she makes her decisions, because she's like going to save someone, she's trying to protect someone, like she has good intentions. But then for Scarlet, I feel like she's just dumb. Like, she is also reckless, but her recklessness is because she is either, you know, her options are either safety or be nice. Like, hello? You know, like this one scene just happened where she was like, yeah, deep down she feels like it's probably out of her best interest, like her safety, if she just stays inside instead, because the reason why she's leaving is because she just feels like it's the nice thing to do to say, talk to this person in person. Hello? Like, it is your safety versus being nice. Most people will pick safety, you know, like that seems like common sense. And then of course she goes there and something bad happens, and I'm just like, why are you dumb? Like, I don't understand this. So I feel like Scarlet, despite like how I liked her in Caraval, because I don't remember her being like this in Caraval, like I feel like she's, I don't know, I feel like she was more sensible, and since then, like the second book and this third book, she's definitely like gone, like lowered her sensibilities. I don't know. Anyways, that's my like frustrations for this book so far. I am hoping to finish this book soon, but I don't know if I'll finish it tonight because I still have quite a ways to go, and I'm also not in the biggest reading mood today, so we'll see. But I still have so many books to read. So anyways, I will check back in later once I get to more reading, but my goal is to really finish this book ASAP, because I was supposed to have this video up today, like this morning. Clearly didn't happen because I'm still reading this book, so we'll see. But then I need to get to editing this video, and hopefully I have it up like ASAP. You guys, I just managed to finish reading Finale by Stephanie Garber. I really fucking enjoyed the series. It was so freaking good, and I just devoured it. Like last like 10-15 minutes, I just like sat down. I was like, I need to just bust this through, and it was so good. I would say the one thing that I realized this morning is that, oh, I had an epiphany really, where I was like, you know what, like what is the second book about, like this other series, Once Upon a Broken Heart? Because I always thought that from the beginning of the first book there was this catalyst that felt very reminiscent to the synopsis that I read for Once Upon a Broken Heart, and so I was like, I feel like this author just, you know, maybe she just really likes this catalyst, you know, this thing, and that's why she made another series. And I never really thought too much about it. But then this morning I had an epiphany. I was like, you know what, like Once Upon a Broken Heart, what if it's about Prince of Hearts? Like, what about Jax? And then there was one thing that was revealed in this book about the Margit and Donatella's future daughter. And I was like, what if this is a series that talks about her future daughter? And I'm just like, this is a perfect setup for, you know, a spin-off series, because you know about this characters now, you know that something's gonna happen with her daughter, and now you're curious what is going to happen. So from that moment on, I was like, this is the perfect, what if it's about her daughter and the Prince of Hearts, and you know how he's immortal, so he's ageless, so he's always going to look the same. And I did think it was a little weird that perhaps, you know, his affection for Donatella was going to be transferred to her daughter, but I was like, you know what, he's immortal, like whatever. So then after that epiphany, I was like, I'm gonna look online to see if it's even related, because as far as I was concerned, I thought it was like very two separate series. It is not. It is in fact following Prince of Hearts, so I was at least right in that aspect. But then it follows another character called Evangeline Fox, and I don't know who this Evangeline Fox is. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be her daughter, because it also says that the book takes place after the events of this series, so I'm like, is it directly after? In which case obviously it cannot be her daughter, because, you know, as of right now, like, she didn't get married, she's not married. So I don't know if Evangeline is the daughter, or if this book takes place like years and years later, like 20-30 years later, in which case, yeah, that makes sense, it could be the daughter. So I'm like still not sure about that part, but at least I have confirmed that it is a spin-off series and it does take place after the events of this series, and I'm so excited to read that series now because I really fucking enjoy this one. I would say that the third book was by far the strongest one. I definitely felt the most connected to all the characters. I really want to know what's happened with Legend. I want to know what's going to happen with Julian, with Scarlet, with Tella. Like all these characters, I was like, I am invested now. I also was super curious about all the different fates because there were so many, and like what exactly were their powers, and it seems like there's a lot of allegiances with the Fallen Star and the other fates, and like what exactly is going on. Like I was super curious about all of that, very invested. The one downside for this book is the ending. I felt like the whole climax with the Fallen Star was very lackluster. I felt like there's just so much buildup, and then when the actual thing happened, I was like, it felt kind of corny in a way, and it just very disappointing because I just expected like so much more. I expected this huge like fight, I expected this huge like action scene or something, and it wasn't that. But at the same time, because I enjoy the series so much and the characters, I felt like it didn't take away my enjoyment of the story overall, so I still really fucking enjoyed it. I think I'll probably give the series like overall like 4.5 stars. I really liked it. So now I can finally say that I finished the entire Caraval series, and now I know why everyone's obsessed with them, because I feel like if I had read this book maybe a couple years ago when I was a little bit younger, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more, just because the writing style would have fit me a lot more back then. Nowadays, as much as I love YA fantasies, there's just something about the writing these days that I do feel like it's a little bit more juvenile, which obviously makes sense because it's, you know, the market that's intended to and the audience that's written for, but they're just never really like 5-star reads for me anymore. So I think if I had read these when I was a little bit younger, I would have easily given the series 5 stars, but now that I'm older, I think it's like 4.5 stars just because of that. But that is purely like my age now and like my reading preferences. I don't think that's a testament on her writing in general, because she is writing to her correct audience, which is not me. So that is one thing I do have to say. But anyways, that is it in terms of this conclusion. I am happy I read this book, and now I'm excited to tackle her spin-off series and wait for the third book in the series, because now I'm like, I need to know more about Jax. I need to know more about this Prince of Hearts, because like, I mean, the way how he's introduced in this series though, like you definitely have a lot left to be imagined, and there's just so much about the story that could be built off of. So I'm really curious to see how the author will play out his own happy ending, and I cannot wait to read that. So that is it for this reading vlog, the OG Caraval reading vlog. And then once that series is out, I think I will try to do another reading vlog for that and just follow up with my thoughts on that one. So anyways, I'm super excited, guys. I'm just super happy I read this book, guys. But yeah, let me know down below if you had read this series before. What did you think about it? Do you think the Once Upon a Broken Heart series is better or worse than the OG series? I'm super curious, because that kind of gives me some expectations going into it, just so I can be like higher expectations or lower expectations or just like medium. But anyways, that's all to say for this video. As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And if you want to see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.